We've got 23 minutes left of trade. Big post-election rally here on Wall Street. The S&P is up 2.4%. The Nasdaq zooming higher. Those tech stocks are flying. It's up almost 4%. The Dow up only 1.7%. Just doesn't have as much exposure as the other indexes to technology. But number one, healthcare. That sector is the biggest winner. And take a look at United Healthcare. That stock is leading the Dow, the company responsible for an outsized triple-digit contribution right now to that index. But some of these other names, like Amgen, Fred Hassan is on the board of, and a number of others are surging. Let's welcome Mr. Hassan. He, besides sitting on the board of Amgen, was formerly the CEO of Schering-Plough and also runs the group, the Carrot Group. Good to see you, Fred. The thinking, I guess, Sarah, here is that healthcare is a big winner of divided government because nobody can implement any major structural changes to the sector, especially the insurance industry. Is that the right thinking?
Yeah, that is the right thinking. This is a very undecided election, and we are essentially a centrist country. We don't like extremes. And the same applies to the healthcare ecosystem. If there's a far right or a far left push, the ecosystem doesn't react well to that. It reacts very well to incremental change. And a lot has changed in the last 10 years. And the market-based way of doing it really is the most effective way of doing it because that's sustainable and it's going in the right direction. Government-led work is not particularly effective because then the next administration might change it. So the market-based reforms are really the best way to change the system.
So that explains some of the gains in the insurers. What about for pharmaceuticals, Fred, and the populist going after drug companies for high drug prices? Is it right to assume, too, that it would be harder to implement big changes with a split government?
It's very fashionable to go after pharma every election cycle. It's been like that for the last 3 decades, a lot more in the last 2 decades. And it was intensifying this year, but then COVID hit. And the savior is the pharma business. We're all waiting for the vaccine and the monoclonal antibodies, and they're around the corner. They're very close, and it's unprecedented for a virus to be discovered, and then inside a year to have access to vaccines and monoclonal antibodies. I think the industry has an opportunity here to really improve its image and to really develop a new social contract with the American people. And I think the American people, once and for all, have realized that the bioscience ecosystem is truly a national treasure. And one shouldn't really let these election cycles and the populist rhetoric hurt this ecosystem. I don't think it's going to hurt because bioscience is too strong. And both sides need better drugs. So it's not going to happen. And of course, a stabilized Senate, which is the way it's looking like right now, is going to be very good. The Senate leader and also Senator Graham, they both understand the healthcare industry, and I don't think they're anxious to do any major changes here.
Fred, when you look at some of the names that have been most involved with developing vaccines and treatments for COVID, do you think their share prices have been bid up too much or not enough when you consider that they're probably not going to be able to make a huge profit on these vaccines? And also, it could be something that's relatively short-lived, and we might hopefully be celebrating having COVID behind us within a year or so.
Yeah, this is a very good question, because I think with 160 projects chasing COVID, I think there is over-investment occurring from a rational point of view. However, it's the right thing to do for society. It is correct that the smaller names are doing very well because naturally, COVID has a huge effect on the value of the stock. But it's really very likely that one of the 2 leading mRNA-based vaccines are going to get there because they have seen no efficacy, no side effect issues so far, and they are keeping on watching the efficacy data. And that's around the corner. It's likely that there will be one of them that's going to get a vaccine. And also these monoclonal antibodies, which are very, very good, very therapeutic, they get to the COVID very quickly. They are already available under emergency use authorization. I think there's a lot that's going to be happening here. And the smaller company stocks are pretty strong because of COVID. I think you have to look at a stock-by-stock basis. If you're looking at a Pfizer, that's such a huge super tanker that this particular project is not going to move the stock very much. If you're looking at others, maybe, yeah, they'll move a lot. But in reality, in about 5 months, it'll become very difficult to enroll new patients because it'll become unethical to put people on placebo when there are effective medicines available.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.